done.
I get that. So, what are the rules like with cutting people off? Because obviously, like, there's a limit. Like, what do you look for that you'll be like, nah, motherfucker,
Usually,
you're done?
you don't have to look. Like, they'll look for you. Like, they'll come to you acting crazy. You're like, oh man. And I only cut them off if they're literally causing a scene. And you're you're making other people feel uncomfortable. Then it's like, okay, you gotta go. But I mean, because everybody has like different tolerance. Yeah, everyone has a different tolerance. So I'll do 6 shots. Maybe Stephanie will do two shots, and like I'm chilling. She's more drunk off 2 shots than I am off 6. And so it's like, you know what I mean? It's like I don't really go by how much you drink. I do go by how you act. And if you're causing a scene or a disturbance or you're being rude, then you gotta go. But
in most cases, they friends kind of push them out. Most people that kind of get out of hand, they're never really alone. In most cases, they're with their friend. They're like, "All right, man, we gotta go," and
their friends will like apologize for them. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, yeah.
What's the biggest scene you've had to deal with? Like, has someone like thrown chairs or glasses at people? Like, what's the biggest commotion you've had to deal with in like your 8+ years that you've?
I'm trying to think. There's just been so many. Let's see. I've had someone like pee, like they were pissed.
Like out in the open?
Yeah, they peed next to the bathroom, but they didn't make it inside. They peed like so, like everyone could like see them like peeing. And when we told them to stop, they got pissed and was like cussing everybody out and stuff. They got pissed. Yeah, like how are you getting mad? Like, yeah. And that was just like, that wasn't like wild. It was just more like disgusting. And I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm not cleaning this up after, so I need you to like get out of here. But I don't even know. There's been so many situations. Like,
they could have just walked in and peed in the sink.
There were so many things that they could have done. So many things, but I don't know. When you're drunk, you just,
No, just turn the water on, afterwards. I don't know.
What is your wildest? What's the wildest thing you've done
drunk
while being drunk? Yeah.
You go first. Because I got to think about it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really too often get drunk, so.
I hear y'all be fighting. Like on the low, I hear like
we don't really be fighting with like people be trying to fight us.
One thing I have never got into like a physical fight from being drunk. I'm not like a violent drunk at all. Like I don't get violent. I get really flirty.
Okay. So no wild experience, Amber?
I mean, no, not really. Like I mean, I did when I went to New Orleans. I did pee in the middle of the street, and then
in the middle?
Maybe it was kind of towards the side of the street. But it's like, you got the curb.
Well, you close to a wall?
No,
like,
not at all.
I'm
not a man. I can't point to the wall. So it's not like...
You don't have to point to the wall, but it's just kind of like the more in the middle you are,
and then I got to make sure it don't
are.
hit my shoes.
Yeah.
So it's actually better to... Women, it's better to like pop a squat when you got heels on. Because like if I got flats on, I just cannot... pee correctly.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
The form,
yeah, the form is not right.
The form is not right. I know what you mean.
So and I had a piece of chicken in my pocket that I would nibble on from club to club. It was about 3 wings, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad I have these." And every time I pulled it out, my best friend, he was with me. He was like, "Where do you keep getting this chicken?" And I told you I had it in my pocket, and it was you knew I was fucked up because of course I'm natural, and like. I started off the night with a nice blowout.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize I had an afro, and I was okay with it. And that's when I knew it was over with. And it wasn't even my fault. Like in New Orleans, they feed you the liquor, and suddenly they're asking for money. I'm like, did I drink something? They put the tubes in their little boobies, and then guess what? I'm taking shots left and right.
Oh, yeah. Those ladies.
They walk up to me, and all of a sudden I consume the liquor.
Because they just hand it to you. They act like you can just have it. And they're like, here. And I'm like, oh, sure, thanks. And then they're like, okay, that'll be $20 more.
Yeah.
Hold on. You gave it to me. I thought this was a gift.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah, they will.
How do I
send you? Right. I'm like, what?
I kind of want to know what you guys' experiences, because I know one of you have.
Oh
had.
yeah.
Okay, I want to hear, because me and Brooke been in a hot seat. So
the whole
night. I mean, I haven't had like too many things because I usually try to not get like just drunk and all that, because I just, as a woman, like I feel like I need to know what's going on at all times, be able to get home, all that. But there has been some times when I was in the military. There was one time in particular, And I feel like I really, honestly, have never been able to live it down. When the first time I drank, when we went to England, because I was like 19 when I first joined the military. And in England, the drinking age is 18. And so at that point, I've been living under a very strict Christian household and all that. So I'd never had a drink outside of, my dad let me sip on his cognac here and there, or his beer or something like that.
And that should be nasty.
Yeah, so I was like, well, actually it tasted good to me.
Oh.
I actually really love dark liquor, like straight. It's just, I don't know. It tastes
not cognac. I might do some whiskey.
Yeah, cognac is too much.
I
can't do cognac.
I like it.
Cognac? Ooh.
Sip on it. It's good. Yeah. Well, anyway, we get to the first spot we get to on our way to England. We stopped through Canada, and I got a Long Island iced tea. I didn't know any better. I just I think somebody got me to order that.
Right.
Trying to get me messed up. It didn't do anything, and I wasn't drunk or anything. But then when we get to England, we had a night. We'd all been drinking and everything, and I don't know my limits yet. And I remember I said something like, I don't know what put in my drink. This guy that one of my friends or whatever at the time.
Right.
And to this day, they're just always like, Bivens was so drunk. She was like, I don't know what put in my drink. And I have to hear that the rest of my life. But I don't really have any at least anything I probably want to share. There was a time that I did get I honestly don't even remember that night, but I alienated myself. The next morning, nobody was speaking to me.
Whoa. And
to this day, they said that I was going off in the car about J. Cole, that somebody said that they didn't like J. Cole and that I was upset. And I'm like, I like J. Cole, but not like that. It's like, are you sure? And I remember I peed a million times in the parking deck because we were waiting on somebody to come, waiting so we can get back in the car all together and get back to base. And when you drink, it just goes right through you.
It really does.
I remember peeing behind a vehicle several times. I just had to keep peeing.
Once you burst that cap,
I have my my moments of.
But I feel like peeing
embarrassing.
Peeing at a bar, okay, no, but peeing outside, it's like your rite of passage. We've all done it.
You have to do it at some point.
We've all done it.
But I will say that was that trip, that day, when I woke up the next day and I go to work and these people that I've known at that point we'd been knowing each other for probably 7 years at that time. We'd been in the military together forever. And when they were all acting weird, I was like, that was my moment of I don't want to ever go through that again.
Mm-hmm.
I need to keep myself together, And my dad would always say that, to never let your demeanor change, even when you're drinking alcohol.
Right.
He's like, don't ever let that change. You always still be yourself. And so, that was.
I don't know if you're trying having a good time or a bad time, but it sounds intense. I would be concerned.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
To touch on what you just said about what your dad said about not letting your demeanor change, that is the key, because that's another reason. That was a pivotal moment for me, because for the longest time, I was a functioning alcoholic. No one really knew when I was drunk, because I could mask it. So when I stopped being able to mask it, that's when I knew, okay, now people are starting to notice, and you're wilding. You gotta just stop.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good when it's everybody's kind of yeah, you saw Bivens last night? She was tore up. We don't want to hang out with her anymore.
Yeah, you don't want to be known as sloppy.
You don't ever want to be that person. That's
not a good look.
And I still had some moments later. I had one other moment later, but
We're going to take a short break.